Welcome to the afternoon shift. It is 3 o'clock on this Tuesday, March 24th. I'm Adam Lorenz. We're so pleased that you're joining us today. We have an absolutely jam-packed show filled with in-studio guests, Zoom guests, live events to get to. But before we get to any of that, let's throw it to our esteemed executive producer who's joining me today in the booth, Paul Milgate. Paul, what's going on? How are you?
There we go. Now you can hear me.
Yes.
Yeah. Aaron, if you're watching, we'll work on that. Things are going well here. Keeping an eye on the big monitor wall that we've got in front of us to give everyone perspective. We've got this massive wall of monitors in front of us. You might be able to see it sort of reflected over my shoulder here. And we keep an eye on what's going on out there right now. The House Public Safety, Finance and Policy Committee, the Minnesota House of Representatives, they are starting to get together and starting to get to their seats. We are hoping to bring you out to that sort of very early in the episode. A couple of hot button issues being discussed today. So we're expecting, maybe not fireworks, but we're expecting things, and I can see actually that it's just starting to get underway. So Adam, do you want to just give some context while I bring this shot up?
Yes, two major bills that they're hearing here, and you can see Representative Kelly Moeller, who was on the afternoon shift just a couple of weeks ago, starting it off. She is the committee co-chair. The two big bills that they're discussing today. The first one, a bill that makes changes related to medical assistance fraud. Obviously, this has been a story that's been top of mind here in Minnesota for the last several months. We are expecting Attorney General Keith Ellison to speak and to testify during that.
Man. He's been busy today. He was in that press conference earlier today with Mary Moriarty as well regarding the Renee Good, Alex Preddy access to evidence and a whole bunch of stuff to do with the lawsuit that they're taking against the federal government. So he's been very busy. Let's just take a listen to see what Representative Miller is saying and see if
in the committee hearing room.
It's worth
thank you to everybody who submitted letters and written testimony. They are posted online, and there are some limited copies in the front, and of course they're in the member packets.
Head out to it?
The first order of business is to approve the last meeting's minutes. Representative Johnson, may I have a motion to approve the minutes for March 18th?
So what we're going to do is going to drop that audio down. We're going to come back to you, Adam, and you're going to run us through some headlines for the day, and maybe also set up again what it is we're going to be ducking out to when we come out to this committee.
Yeah. The other big bill that they're going to be hearing there in addition to the medical assistance fraud bill is a bill about ghost guns. If you don't know what ghost guns are, and I didn't know what they were earlier today, they are unserialized and therefore untraceable firearms that are put together by components purchased either as a kit or separate pieces. Lawmakers are discussing a bill that prohibits the sale and possession of ghost guns, limits the 3D printing of firearms, and places limits on the assembly of firearms. So two major points of discussion today inside that Minnesota House hearing. And when they really get going on that, we will be bringing that to you live in its entirety. We'll be watching it with you. And as mentioned, we are expecting Attorney General Keith Ellison to speak on the first one.
I think it is actually at the point now where we should probably just duck in and have a listen. They're just discussing it now. So
recently interpreting the state law to significantly limit that prior requirement. House File 3407 simply reverts state law back to that prior condition, but with the addition and the improvement of providing a method to serialize those firearms that did not previously have serial numbers. We're going to talk about the importance of firearms having serial numbers by way of our testifiers largely, but I want to, as I say, simply note that what the bill does is revert to the state prior to August when the Supreme Court issued that case of Vagel, but with also allowing firearms to be serialized. And I think what I'll do at this point, Madam Chair, is move to testifiers to talk about why it's so important that firearms be serialized.
All right, thank you. Our first testifier is Attorney General Keith Ellison. There you are. And we've also got Eric Maloney, Assistant Attorney General. Yeah, and then it looks like Chief O'Hara, Minneapolis Police Chief O'Hara is here as well. Welcome, everybody, to the committee. And Attorney General Ellison, I believe you're first. And if you would go ahead and introduce yourself and begin your testimony.
Certainly. My name is Keith Ellison. I'm the Attorney General for the state of Minnesota. And I want to thank you, Chair Moeller, Chair Novotny, and Representative Pinto, and all members for inviting me to be here with you today. Let me say from the very beginning, I am so honored that Chief O'Hara from Minneapolis Police Department is here, because perhaps more than anybody in our state, he knows the implications of unserialized guns and the implications for them. I hope you hear from him in a moment. But allow me to make a few things clear. First of all, this bill is absolutely necessary at this time. Although Minnesota Statute 609.677 already bans removing or altering serial numbers on firearms, a recent Minnesota Supreme Court decision found that Minnesota statute only requires firearms to have serial numbers if the guns are required to be serialized under federal law. By tying Minnesota's current statute to constantly changing federal regulatory standards that currently do not outright prohibit all ghost guns, this ruling has created a significant and dangerous loophole in state law that I respectfully submit requires your urgent attention to close. As you know, ghost guns are firearms that can be printed 3D printed or assembled at home in kits sold online. Ghost guns present a clear and present danger to Minnesotans and our public safety for at least 3 reasons. First, ghost guns make criminal investigations more difficult. Ghost guns lack serial numbers that traditional firearms have, rendering these guns untraceable, which can significantly undermine law enforcement investigations. Second, ghost guns bypass background checks. It can take just an hour to print a 3D ghost gun or assemble one from a kit purchased online. When that happens, a background check process is bypassed entirely, allowing dangerous individuals who may be legally prohibited from having firearms, who cannot pass a background check, to acquire a gun. Third, ghost guns remove a major deterrent for gun traffickers. Serial numbers on traditional firearms deter individuals from gun trafficking, that is, illegally selling firearms to other people who are legally prohibited from owning a gun. If firearms with serial numbers that are recovered at a crime scene can be traced back to someone who claims to no longer own them, law enforcement may begin investigating that individual for gun trafficking. The lack of a serial number on a ghost gun makes it far harder to identify who sold or trafficked the firearm. Let me just give you a real-life example that my office dealt with not too long ago. It involves a young woman by the name of Markeisha Wiley. Markeisha Wiley was killed at the Truck Park restaurant in St. Paul, walking distance from where we are right now. Now, Markeisha, who was killed in October 2021, happened to be out with friends socializing, Madam Chair, and she happened to be there when these 2 individuals started shooting at each other, and they hit 14 people and killed her. It is because the gun found on the scene could be linked to Jerome Horton, who purchased the gun that was used at the Truck Park shooting. And because he purchased 32 other firearms from a local retailer, that the gun could be traced back to where the gun started from. And because of that, law enforcement was able to prosecute Jerome Horton, put him in prison where he belonged, and hold him accountable for the gun trafficking that helped generate the mayhem that happened at that truck park and cost the life of Markeisha Wiley. The untraceability of if that gun was untraceable, no one would ever know. And yet, because it was traceable, we're able to get to the bottom of where that gun came from and who the trafficker was. The availability or untraceability of ghost guns is a growing problem in Minnesota. In the last 5 years, from 2017 to 2021, 187 ghost guns were recovered at crime scenes. So from 2017 to 2021, about 187 guns. In the 2 subsequent years, 2022 and 2023, 631 ghost guns were recovered at crime scenes, a 600% increase. Criminals know that if you want to commit a crime with a gun, get a ghost gun. So we're asking you to put a stop to it. I'll yield back for other witnesses.
Thank you. And it looks like Chief O'Hara, you're sitting there, so I assume you're next. Please introduce yourself. Welcome back to the committee.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good afternoon. My name is Brian O'Hara, and I'm the police chief in Minneapolis. Thank you, Chair, and thank you, members of the committee, for having me here today. As you know, police officers and first responders deal with the consequences of community violence and shootings every day. We're the people who have to go and provide first aid and try and save lives, and then afterwards to try and help bring some sense of justice to the people who are victimized in our state. Law enforcement officers carry the weight of what they witness, the impact that it has on people in the community, family members and victims, and really lives that are shattered in an instant. And it's a weight that weighs on us every single day and gets progressively worse over the course of a career. Personally manufactured firearms, as the Attorney General has said, commonly referred to as ghost guns, are difficult to track, and they present a continuing growing threat and challenge to law enforcement across the country. It's a problem that appeared a few years ago on the west coast of this country and then began to proliferate in the Northeast and has come to Minnesota in the last few years. In 2019, the Minneapolis Police Crime Lab processed only 3 ghost guns that were recovered at crime scenes. By 2022, that increased exponentially to 111 ghost guns being recovered at crime scenes. While that has declined in recent years, already this year, year to date, we've recovered 14 ghost guns involved in crimes, including one that is involved in one of the murders that has happened this year in the city. Dozens of firearms also have produced NIBIN hits in Minneapolis, which is the National Integrated Ballistics Information Network. It's essentially the tracing of the firearms that are used at crime scenes. And while approximately nationwide from 2016 to 2021, there were approximately 45,000 suspected ghost guns recovered from potential crime scenes, including 642 homicides or attempted homicides. And of those recovered in Minneapolis, where we've had NIBIN hits, they've been linked to shell casings that are typically recovered at scenes of gunfire. In 2022 alone, there were 32 ghost guns that were connected to shooting hits in the city, a trend that has continued with 22 NIBIN hits in 2025. Worse yet, in recent years, multiple ghost guns processed in Minneapolis have been recovered from homicide cases, including 6 homicide cases in 2024 and 1 already this year. Ghost guns are dangerous in part because they can be assembled and transferred outside of regulated systems. They lack serial numbers, as other firearms do, which significantly impacts our investigative efforts. In addition, they can be assembled by individuals who, as the AG mentioned, are legally prohibited from possessing firearms, which is unacceptable for law enforcement. And that's who we're worried about. We're worried about the convicted felons, juveniles, and other people who are unlawfully able to possess firearms that get a hold of these things and then wind up using them in crimes to harm people in our state. So we're supportive of requiring serial numbers, as other firearms lawfully possessed are required to have, and regulating the components used to make ghost guns. And we believe this will help increase and strengthen our ability to investigate gun crimes when they occur, and also to help provide a better sense of justice for the victims. So I thank you for having me and for your time to consider this important bill. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. And I understand you have someone else from the AG's office here to answer questions if needed. Is that correct? Just so the agendas.
That is correct, Madam
Members
Chair.
can note that on their agenda. Then we also have public testimony. We have Mariana Mitchum has signed up virtually. So we will switch to virtual here.
Hi, thank you.
Yes, go right ahead. Welcome. Please introduce yourself.
Thank you. My name is Mariana Mitchum, and I'm currently the Senior Industry Advisor for Everytown for Gun Safety. But prior to joining Everytown, I was an industry operations investigator for the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives. I worked for ATF for over 20 years, and when I retired last May, I was part of the executive staff, serving as the Associate Assistant Director of Field Operations. In that position, I was responsible for overseeing and regulating the firearms industry. This includes the more than 1,500 federal firearm licensees, commonly referred to as licensed gun stores, operating here in Minnesota. During my 20-year career, I developed and instituted ATF's Crime Gun Intelligence Analytics System, which primarily utilizes trace data to identify violent offenders and trigger pullers, the traffickers that armed them, and the gun stores that supplied them. This crime gun trace information provides critical intelligence and viable investigative leads for local, state, and federal law enforcement as they investigate violent crimes. It's important to understand how crime gun tracing works, especially to better understand how it can break down. When a firearm is recovered in a crime, law enforcement submits the description of the firearm, which includes the serial number, to ATF. ATF then tracks down the history of the firearm by contacting the manufacturer, distributor, and ultimately the last known licensed gun store that sold the firearm. ATF then provides back to the requesting law enforcement agency where the firearm was purchased, when it was purchased, and who purchased it, including their name, date of birth, driver's license information, and address. When a firearm lacks a serial number, this trace is impossible to complete. Law enforcement will be unable to identify the last known purchaser, and they will have no lead to pursue in their effort to identify and apprehend suspects and prevent future acts of violence. The intelligence provided by crime gun tracing is even more critical during an active shooter situation. Who bought the gun? Are there additional bad actors that could be joining the active shooter? All of that information is helpful through the crime gun trace. There are two main reasons ghost guns are attractive to criminals who can't legally purchase guns, and especially to individuals planning to commit gun crimes. They are untraceable, and they circumvent the background check process. This is why their use in crimes has grown exponentially over the years. In Minnesota alone, as the AG stated, ghost gun recoveries have increased 237%, from 187 recovered between 2017 and 2021 to 631 recovered between 2022 and 2023. During that time, 94 of those were machine gun conversion devices, which can be slipped in easily into a firearm and made to fire fully auto. I am testifying today to ask you to support law enforcement in their efforts to solve gun crimes, combat gun trafficking, and keep our communities safe by advancing this bill to prohibit unserialized ghost guns so that our officers have the information they need to hold the criminal actors accountable. I encourage members of the committee to vote yes on this bill.
Thank you for your testimony. And we have 3 testifiers who have signed up in opposition. And if you all want to make your way to the table now, we've got Mariah Day, Anna Leamy, and Brian Gosh.
You're up first. Okay. She is, yeah. There you go. Sure.
Welcome back to the committee. If you want to introduce yourself and begin your testimony.
Thank you, Chair and members of the committee. Mariah Day, I represent the National Shooting Sports Foundation. We're the trade association for the firearms, ammunition, hunting, and recreational shooting sports industry. I won't belabor the points that I already made in my written testimony, which I believe you have before you, but I do want to take just a moment to emphasize a couple facts here for your consideration. Federal law treats privately manufactured firearms for personal use very different than firearms that have been illegally altered to deface or eliminate an existing serial number. We're concerned that conflating the various issues addressed by this bill and redefining distinct types under one rather ambiguous umbrella term of ghost guns will only muddy the waters. A firearm may lack a serial number for a number of reasons. Some are blatantly illegal under current federal law, and some are perfectly legitimate, such as being manufactured before 1968. For years, every firearm manufacturer in America has applied serial numbers to their products prior to sale. That unfortunately still doesn't stop criminals from illegally defacing stolen firearms by removing their serial numbers to make it more difficult for the legal system to hold them accountable for their crimes. I'd like to encourage the committee to avoid obscuring the fact that violent criminals are far more likely to use firearms that were stolen and obtained on the black market with obliterated serial numbers than they are to use firearms requiring NFA registration, such as the undetectable firearms that are mentioned in the bill. Many law-abiding firearm owners in Minnesota regularly swap out stocks, sights, scopes, and optics trigger assemblies, barrels, upper receivers, and other components of their firearms for different kinds of shooting activities. Vague restrictions on the assembly of firearms could inadvertently put many of these gun owners in violation of the law, or at least in a legal gray area. It's always been a serious crime for a prohibited possessor to own a firearm of any kind, and this includes self-made firearms. I would encourage you to oppose HF 3407. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Leamy, welcome back to the committee. Please introduce yourself and begin your testimony.
Thank you, Madam Chair. My name is Anna Leamy, Director of Government Relations and Advocacy for the Minnesota Gun Owners Caucus. House File 3407 expands criminal law to regulate the activities of ordinary gun owners. This bill is not about misuse, but it is about possession. House File 3407 would make it a felony to possess an unserialized firearm, even if it was lawfully manufactured and possessed under current law. Owners would be forced to either serialize the firearm through a federally licensed dealer, surrender it to law enforcement, or render it permanently inoperable. For generations, Americans have lawfully built firearms for personal use. Federal law has long allowed individuals to manufacture firearms for themselves as long as the individual is not selling the firearm. House File 3407 would make many of these privately manufactured firearms illegal to possess in Minnesota if they do not have a government-approved serial number. This bill forces current owners to serialize, surrender, destroy, or remove lawfully owned property within strict deadlines. It assumes that federally licensed dealers will provide serialization services, that costs will be reasonable, and that access will exist across the state. None of that is guaranteed. By effectively prohibiting private firearm manufacturing, unless performed by a federally licensed manufacturer, this bill criminalizes conduct that has historically been lawful. House File 3407 also raises serious First Amendment concerns by criminalizing the distribution of digital files used to design or manufacture firearms using 3D printing or CNC technology. Courts have repeatedly held that computer code is protected speech under the First Amendment. Minnesota already has extensive criminal laws addressing violent offenses, illegal firearm possession by prohibited persons, and misuse of firearms. Expanding criminal liability for law-abiding citizens engaged in historically lawful conduct does not better serve public safety. For these reasons, I urge you to vote no on House File 3407.
Thank you. And I see that you're there too, Mr. Gosh. Welcome back to the committee. Please introduce yourself and begin.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Chair Peno, good to see you again. My name is Brian Gosh. I'm a lawyer, registered lobbyist with the National Rifle Association, here opposing this bill today. I would agree with the previous remarks you just heard from the previous two speakers and add again and emphasize that the ghost gun category really is conflating three distinct issues. One is the undetectable firearm, two is the personally made firearm, and three is the 3D printer as a piece of equipment to manufacture many different things, but including firearms. To the first one, the undetectable firearm, that was already made illegal in 1988 under the Federal Undetectable Firearms Act. There's been several reiterations since then. And the most recent version also includes what they call a security exemplar of 3.7 ounces of stainless steel. It has to be into the firearm so that it can be detected through metal detectors, particularly at airport security. Also, major components like the slide, the receiver, also have to look like that and be detectable to those security screenings. So that's the undetectable portion of it. They're trying to lump that all into one category. The other one's a personally made firearm. I'm not going to belabor that because you heard that for centuries we've allowed people to make their own firearms and not have to adhere to the strict regulation and put a serial number on. But if they go to transfer it, then they do have to put a serial number on it. If they're trying to manufacture these and then sell them, like you heard, you have to put a serial number on it. The third one is the 3D printer. The 3D printer is used for aerospace components, automotive components, dental and medical implants like hips and knees and dental devices. How object is manufactured doesn't change the rules that apply to it. So if you're a prohibited person, you still can't possess a firearm. If you do, you risk 15 years in prison. If you manufacture through 3D technology an undetectable firearm, for one, that firearm's probably not going to be functional, but two, that's a crime. You go to prison for up for 5 years. A couple more things I'll finish with in the bill. I think it's worth noting, if you look at line 2.3 of the bill, it purports to exempt firearms manufactured prior to 1968, but that's under the category of ghost guns. But then if you look at subdivision 5, so lines 2.25 through 2.28, it ceases to use the term ghost gun and then uses firearm. And it says every firearm has to have a serial number within 180 days. And if you go down to the exceptions for that, it is not included in the exceptions are guns manufactured prior to 1968. And so there was testimony on the Senate side that this exempts all firearms prior to 1968. I think there's a conflict in that, within that section I just referenced. And then finally, if you look at the language found at 4.4 through 4.9 and how they defined assembly of a firearm, and you heard testimony earlier about this too, but I want to emphasize this because if you're a private owner and you're regularly adjusting the uppers and lowers for the type of shooting you're doing, you might be shooting deer, you might be shooting varmints, you might be target shooting. This law seems to limit you to be able to change those uppers and lowers 3 times a year. I don't think that's the purpose of it, but I think that's the effect of it. So with that, I'll stand by for questions, Madam Chair. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And that concludes the testifiers who have signed up today. So we will move first to the DE1 amendment. Who's going to be offering? Representative Bliss, please explain your DE.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We feel that it's important to hold these criminals that are using these guns accountable. And instead of banning the tool, we want to increase the penalty on the persons. So that's my DE.
All right, Representative Pinto to the DE1.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Representative Bliss. Well, first, what your DE1 would do is that it would gut the bill in the sense that the benefits that the Attorney General referenced of serialization in terms of investigations of crimes by avoiding, ensuring that transfer of guns pass through a background check, the deterrent, et cetera, that would all be removed in what you're doing because this would simply increase penalties for crimes that are committed when the firearm does not have a serial number. I guess one question I'd ask you is why is it better in your view if someone commits one of these crimes if that gun has a serial number? Because essentially you'd be calling for a lesser sentence in that case. Do you prefer it when somebody does that? I guess I'll just, I would urge members to vote no and to instead vote to return our law to the way that it was before last August, that guns were required to have serial numbers. And I would urge them to vote against the DE1. And of course, Representative Bliss may want to respond to what I asked, Madam Chair.
Sure. Representative Bliss.
This bill is just addressing the serialized portion that you're trying to address, and I feel that it doesn't stop the crime by adjusting the tool. You get the person off the street, which is one of the problems that we're having with guns right now. Is we're seeing multiple people out in the streets with multiple offenses, creating this crime. If you start locking the people up, maybe the crime will go down.
All right, further discussion to the DE1. I guess I have a question. I assume this would have a cost. Representative Bliss, do you?
I don't have a fiscal note on it, and I would like a roll call, please.
Okay, surely roll call has been requested. Co-Chair Novotny.
Thank you, Chairman Mueller. I'd like to point out that in the entirety of the bill, which would make thousands of people in possession of firearms that would be deemed illegal in this, there is zero financial impact. So I would find it hard to believe that we'd have a fiscal impact that would be greatly increased based on the fact that there's no fiscal note for the entire bill. I recommend a no vote.
Chair,
On the amendment, I recommend against votes.
Chair Pinto.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I guess, Chair Novotny, I'll just note that you have the fiscal note in front of you. If you think that there's something that's an incorrect assumption, certainly point that out. But as you correctly note, the analysis has been done by a variety of agencies and found that, in fact, there would not be a cost to the underlying bill. I think we can assume that there would be a cost to the DE1. That would be another reason to vote against it, besides, of course, that we would lose the benefits of serialization. So I'd urge members to vote no on the DE1.
Right, thank you. And I'll just note that the DE does have, it's the increased penalties that we believe would create a fiscal note here.
Indeed.
The clerk will take the roll.
Chair Mueller.
No.
Chair Mueller, no. Chair Novotny.
Aye.
Chair Novotny, aye. Vice Chair Feist. Vice Chair Whitty.
Yes.
Vice Chair Whitty, aye. Representative Berg.
No.
Representative Berg, no. Representative Bliss.
Yes.
Representative Bliss, yes. Representative Curran.
No.
Representative Curran, no. Representative Duran.
Yes.
Representative Duran, yes. Representative Engen. Representative Greenman.
No.
Representative Greenman, no. Representative Harder.
Yes.
Representative Harder, yes. Representative Hollins.
No.
Representative Hollins, no. Representative Hudson. Representative Johnson.
No.
Representative Johnson, no. Representative Pinto.
No.
Representative Pinto, no. Representative Ream.
No.
Representative Ream, no. Representative Rapinski.
Yes.
Representative Rapinski, yes. Representative Schwartz.
Yes.
Representative Schwartz, yes. Representative Steer.
Yes.
Representative Steer, yes. Representative Tapke.
No.
Representative Tapke, no. 9 noes, 8 yeas.
There being 8 ayes and 9 nays, the motion does not prevail and the amendment is not adopted. All right, next we'll move on to discussion of the bill. Member discussion. Representative Rapinski.
Thank you, Chair. I guess I maybe have a question for our AG, Mr. Jobson.
Go ahead and ask your question while they're coming to the table, please.
Ask your question.
Thank you. I heard some staggering numbers, 600 plus weapons. Of those unserialized numbers, unserialized weapons, what was the percentage of weapons that had a serial number physically removed on it compared to no serial number at all?
Attorney General Ellison.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Sir, those are ones without a serial number. They would have a different category if they were defaced or removed serial numbers. We put them in we count them in a different area.
Representative Rapinski.
Thank you, Chair. Can you give me the numbers on which they have that were removed?
Yeah.
Attorney General
None.
Ellison.
These are the numbers of unserialized weapons found. There's somebody out there knows how many numbers of guns where the serial number was removed. Maybe my colleague has the information.
Right. Welcome to the committee. Please introduce yourself and answer that question.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Eric Maloney, Assistant Attorney General. Representative Rapinski, that is, I believe what the Attorney General has said is correct, that it is a different category. This is based on ATF data. I don't have those numbers in front of me right now on obliterated serial numbers. I think that's something we could dig up, but don't have it at hand at the moment.
Any further questions? No?
Thank you.
Representative Curran.
Thank you, Chair Mueller, and thank you, Chair Pinto, for bringing this bill. I know that in the context of gun violence and gun violence in Minnesota specifically, we've heard some stats already on ghost guns that we're talking about today. And I think in the general context of gun violence prevention, I think it's important that we are taking some steps forward in that folks who are responsible gun owners think about taking some additional steps in that responsibility. And I say that as a gun owner who, as we talk about a variety of bills, would impact me as well. And I may have to go through certain other processes to ensure that the guns that I currently own would be lawful under the new laws that we enact. For me, that's something that I weigh, and I feel that it's worth. I feel that it's worth it. I feel that the public health benefit alone of leaning into some more responsible actions, to me is something that I'm not only comfortable with, but I feel that we are accountable for that, and we are accountable for making some really difficult decisions. And I think sometimes coming to the conclusion that owning up to a little more responsibility can be challenging for folks. And I certainly see that in this discussion as well. I see that in the opposition letters. And I just want to address a couple of those points that, it's true that if we make a new law, that says a current behavior as of this date is now a crime? Yes, after that date, engaging in that behavior would be a crime. So to say that criminalizing law-abiding Minnesotans, it's a little, it's misrepresenting, I think, what the goal is here. And the goal is that we would all remain law-abiding, even with some changes here that don't necessarily, you know, I understand folks might feel punished as gun owners, but this is really, again, it's a responsibility to the public health crisis of gun violence. And to say there's no historical basis, of course, that's what we do here. We create laws, we keep up with the times, we keep up with technology, and we create history as we work. So I don't dispute that there's maybe not a historical basis for this, but it's certainly relevant and worth having that conversation and taking meaningful steps. And I would just say, too, that I disagree that the bill regulates speech. I think there's a clear distinction between speech and instruction manuals that can cause harm to people. And so I think anything we can do as a legislature to put barriers up so that folks can't misuse these kinds of weapons is an important step to take. Removing a serial number is one more step that someone would have to take before committing a crime if they don't want to get caught. And I think these are good solutions, and I'd like to ask for a roll call.
Okay, very well. Representative Duran.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I've been listening to testifiers and you know what we've been saying, but I don't think we quite are grasping what we truly want to grasp here. And Representative Pinto, my first question to you would be, and you're all three lawyers up there, do criminals follow the law?
Representative Pinto.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Representative Duran, if you're defining a criminal as somebody who's violated a particular law, then they violated that particular law. That's what I'd say.
And I guess under that logic, there's no point in having any laws?
Well, indeed, yes, there's been a lot of proposals that would violate
Thank you,
that.
Madam Chair. I really wanted to get that through. Criminals don't care. Criminals do not care what laws we put in place. Criminals do not care what you do. Criminals do not care about your feelings. Criminals do not care. So actually doing this is only going to actually, what we're doing is we're actually punishing law-abiding citizens. Criminals do not care about what you think putting a serial number or just a label on a gun is going to do for us. They're going to do it no matter what. And these are some of the points that, like, I wish that we could just come to the table and actually work on some of the issues that, you know, a lot of this is going. And I mean, let's fight back on the gangs in some of these areas. Let's fight back on some of the actual criminal behavior that are leading to some of these shootings that would actually go. That would be great for us to be able to do. So if we want to truly work on fighting criminal behavior, I think we should all come together and figure out ways that we can fight back some of those criminal behavior, some gang activity maybe, you know, maybe try to, you know, stop it before it gets too quick. But a lot of these gun activities, a lot of these ghost guns, are we finding this throughout the state of Minnesota? Maybe this is for you, Representative Pinto. Are we finding problems with ghost guns throughout the state of Minnesota? Or is it just kind of in Hennepin County or Ramsey County?
I direct to the testifier.
Go ahead, Mr. Maloney.
Madam Chair, Representative Duran, you've heard from the Minneapolis police chief who was talking about, you know, what that department has seen. The AG also gave you statewide numbers that were obviously larger than what the chief testified to. So I can't break it down by city or by county sitting here, but there is a problem with ghost guns outside of Minneapolis and outside of the Twin Cities metro area.
Mm-hmm.
Representative Duran.
Yep. You know, thank you for that. But I mean, is it really focused down some of these areas where there's a lot of criminal behavior where people just don't care about any of these laws? I mean, because they couldn't necessarily have permission to have some of these guns if they're maybe doing it for gang affiliation or they're felons in general. So, and this is what I'm trying to get to is, you know, we're trying to actually limit the amount of what good law-abiding citizens would actually have been doing for multiple years. And criminals don't care what laws we want to put in place because they haven't cared yet, nor will they care in the future. And you've said multiple times, increasing penalties on things is not going to hinder people from doing things. You've said that. So what are we doing here? We're increasing a penalty for something that has been, we're actually creating a penalty for something that we've been doing for such a long time. Is that going to stop criminal behavior? Because you said increasing penalties for things are not going to stop criminal behavior multiple times. So can you give me a little bit on that?
Sure.
Representative Pinell.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And Representative Duran, well, a reminder when you said this has been going on for years. This is since last August. So before last August, the possession of a firearm without a serial number was illegal under Minnesota law. The Supreme Court reinterpreted the statute in a manner that causes this to be necessary to revert to back where we were before, with the additional ability to serialize firearms that we didn't have that ability before. So it's actually an improvement of where that was before. So reminder that that's the situation we're talking about. It's only been a few months, really, this has been going on. And Representative Duran, what we do, I was looking at some bills that you've introduced, creating a new crime for assaulting a security officer at a hospital, right? Somebody that presumably that's a criminal who's doing that, and yet you believe that that is an important important law to pass, right? What we do is we establish in our laws the expectations that we have for conduct, and we say that in this case, if you take on the responsibility of possessing a firearm, then in that case, that firearm needs to have a serial number. So if that firearm ends up being used in a crime, there's the ability to investigate, the ability to have a background check as it moves between people, and there's that deterrent, the three factors that the Attorney General referenced. Attorney General also may have some things he wants to add.
Yeah, Attorney General, and we do need to move on, so please go ahead and answer that. Go ahead.
Thank you, and I'll be quick, and I do appreciate the question, Representative Duran. Here's the thing. A gun trafficker will go to a retailer and buy perhaps 30, 40 guns at a time, or within a very short period of time, a few weeks. When that happens, and then they will sell them, so they won't have them. And they're gonna say, oh, they were stolen if they're caught. If we can have serial numbers on these guns, which may be ghost guns as well, it will allow us to figure out who the last possessor, who the last owner, where the gun came from, and will help us crack down on that particular trafficking. So the serial numbers become very important if we do not want to create an illegal commerce in guns, which I know as you as a former police officer is something you don't want to see. So that's the real idea. It's not about whether the criminals like it or not. It's about our ability to detect them and find them and then hold them accountable.
Right. Final comment.
Real quick. And I agree with Representative Pinto about my bills is because I actually like to punish people who actually break the law and punish people who actually should be held accountable. That's what we should be doing here. And I don't think doing this against law-abiding people is great. And Attorney General Ellison, we've talked about this before, and you agreed with me that this is not going to solve all our problems, because if guns are stolen, I mean, we know the circumstances on any of this stuff. Sometimes we can't link even a serial number to the actual person that committed the crime because it's not their own gun. So, serial numbers are not going to fix all the crimes, and the people just don't care either. So I guess I'm done.
Quick response, Madam Chair.
Attorney General.
I'm sorry, but so Jerome Horton, please think about that name. You could even look it up on your phone. This guy bought a whole bunch of guns from a local retailer, sold them to some criminals, and those guns were found on the crime scene where Markeisha Wiley was killed, walking distance from here. Because they had serial numbers on them, we were able to find Mr. Horton, and Mr. Horton spent several years in prison because of his gun trafficking activity. So you're right, we will not solve all bad conduct that human beings engaged in with just this bill. It will take a number of bills, but this will help. And I can promise you one thing, the family of Markeisha Wiley feels better knowing that the trafficker who put guns on the scene that resulted in their daughter's life is being held accountable.
Representative Hollins.
Thank you, Chair Moeller. This is obviously more of a comment than a question. I think it's so important that we center ourselves in this conversation. Owning a gun is a heavy responsibility. It is an item that can take somebody's life on purpose or even accidentally. And I really think that having serial numbers on it is the absolute bare minimum that we are asking of gun owners, of lawful gun owners. I am so amazed that we are even having this discussion. We regulate dangerous things in this country, in this state. We regulate cars, we regulate drugs and alcohol and nicotine. We regulate all sorts of things that can kill people and put people in harm's way. That's not abnormal. So the fact that we have folks coming up here and testifying saying that this is the most dangerous thing we can do is to regulate firearms is just bananas to me. And to say it in a room where there are gun violence victims sitting here, where like half a year ago, children were shot and killed while at church, and we're saying you can't have a serial number, that's too hard, that's violating your rights. I'm sorry, that's beyond the pale. So that's my comment. Thank you very much for bringing this bill, Representative Pinto.
Representative Steer.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'll be quick. Just want to hammer down on the fiscal note here. I see in the bill there's felony after felony after felony. Are we assuming that everyone will just abide by the law and there will not be any arrests made and any prison beds for this?
And I'll turn it over, but I assume it's just because it's reinstating what was
I
law
think
before.
that's,
Go ahead,
I think that's
Representative
right.
Pinto.
Well, yeah, no, I think that's right, Madam Chair. And that, I think the fiscal note speaks for itself, Representative Steer. I don't know that I can add anything further to it. I mean, you have it right in front of you. But I think that the chair is correct about that, since it's reinstating prior law in that way.
Right. Before the Supreme Court struck down, these cases were getting charged and prosecuted, but because of that being struck down, now they're not. So that's my assumption under the fiscal note. Representative Steer. Okay. Chair Novotny.
Thank you, Chair Mueller. Attorney General Ellison, you mentioned the number 631 recovered at crime scenes. Can you briefly explain what recovered at the crime scene means? I have a mental image by the way you describe it, as these incidents are taking place and they're dropping the ghost guns on the ground, or are they being arrested and the weapons are being recovered from their vehicles or their person?
Attorney General Ellison.
Thank you for your question, Mr. Chairman. My understanding is that if the ghost gun is at the crime scene, whether it's on the ground or in the possession of a criminal or then it will be counted in that number.
Chair Novotny.
Thank you, Chair Mueller. So out of that number that you mentioned, that there's a crime scene, so there was a crime committed, and having that firearm and committing that crime would still be something that would be investigated and prosecuted. So my question is, out of that 361 weapons that you said were recovered at the scene, how many resulted in prosecutions because of other crimes and the applicable federal crimes?
Attorney General Ellison.
Yeah, Chair Novotny, I assume all of them, but I can't say that I know that because I didn't follow those. I didn't come here with that information, but I'll provide it to you as soon as I can.
Chair Novotny.
In the interest of time, I'll take that and I'll just cut to the point. Attorney General Ellison made the statement that this is absolutely needed, implying that this is a crisis. And I'm going to go back to the thing, zero fiscal note for something that is either it's a problem, it's not. I'm confused. I'm like that. Attorney General Ellison, Representative Hollins, you talk about things that point out that the current laws are working from the standpoint of the shooting that you referenced had nothing to do with the bill or the gun. Attorney General Ellison mentioned the truck part shooting, which was solved by the current laws that exist. Now, you mentioned also that gun traffickers are going out and buying 30, 40 guns, and I will tell you, and Representative Steer can probably confirm this, but if someone goes and buys more than 2 guns in a month, that's going to set off an alarm at the ATF, and the agency that controls their permit to purchase is going to get an email saying your constituent or a person in your area purchased more than 2 guns in a month, and that yes, and
and ATF will be knocking on that person's door. I can cite many cases. I can't do it right now, but I can provide you with the cases where ATF has followed up on those gun buyers that do the straw buying. With that, I recommend a no vote for this.
I mean, that,
We need to wrap it up, sorry.
that's not accurate.
Quickly, Attorney General Ellison.
So how many guns were picked up and did Jerome Horton buy from the retailer?
I don't have the numbers in front of me, but Madam Chair, Rep. Novotny, it's 30 or 40 guns, I believe, in total that Jerome Horton purchased from multiple retailers over several months.
And then another individual picked up a similar number?
Yes.
What was their name? Do you remember
that? Sarah Elwood.
So I'm telling you, I mean, it's a fact. I mean, that's why we had ATF employee on the testifying in favor of the bill. It happens. We're just trying to stop it. And I know you all want to stop gun violence, so maybe we can do it together.
Closing remarks, Representative Pinto.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So members, just quickly, if you flip to page 25 of the fiscal note, look, here's the deal. This was the law before August, okay? The fiscal note says it's assumed this bill will restore the case filing rate to the levels previous. Like, this was the law. I don't think there was a single GOP proposal, maybe I'm wrong about this, to take away serialization, to take away the requirement that was in place before August. It happened that the court read the statute in a particular way, which is why we are fixing it. We're getting back to the way that it was before, but now we're actually providing a route for someone who possesses an unserialized firearm to get it serialized. That's a helpful thing to somebody who has an unserialized firearm. We're getting the law to back where it was before. I have charged these cases repeatedly when somebody possesses an unserialized gun. That was something we didn't think about because the law just said what it was, and that's what it was, and nobody's complaining about it. It ended up working perfectly fine. We're trying to get back to that, and because of that prior law, we ended up being able to make the progress that the Attorney General is referencing. You're hearing from law enforcement, you're hearing from county attorneys about the need to have this. There is no reason that we cannot have, when you have a product as a gun, we get back to the way the law was before. They have a serial number on the gun. And I will note, I know that we have vehicle registrations. We don't have a Second Amendment. Note, people drive all the time. People own cars. They drive all over the place. No diminution of your ability to drive, right? We're talking about an important step to get back to where we were before. Madam Chair and members, please, please, please vote yes for this bill. Thank you.
Representative Pinto renews the motion to re-refer House File 3407 to the Judiciary, Finance, and Civil Law Committee. The clerk will take the roll.
Chair Mueller.
Aye.
Chair Mueller, aye. Chair Novotny.
No.
No. Chair Novotny, no.
So we're going right to the wrestler.
Aye. Vice Chair Feist, aye. Vice Chair Whitty.
No.
Vice Chair Whitty, no. Representative Berg.
Aye.
Representative Berg, aye. Representative Bliss.
No.
Representative Bliss, no. Representative Curran.
Aye.
Representative Curran, aye. Representative Duran.
No.
Representative Duran, no. Representative Engen.
No.
Representative Engen, no. Representative Greenman.
Yes.
Representative Greenman, yes. Representative Harder.
No.
Representative Harder, no. Representative Hollins.
Yes.
Representative Hollins, yes. Representative Hudson.
No.
Representative Hudson, no. Representative Johnson.
Yes.
Representative Johnson, yes. Representative Pinto.
Yes.
Representative Pinto, yes. Representative Ream.
Aye.
Representative Ream, yes. Representative Rapinski.
No.
Representative Rapinski, no. Representative Schwartz.
No.
Representative Schwartz, no. Representative Steer.
No.
Representative Steer, no. Representative Tapke.
Yes.
Representative Tapke, yes. 10 ayes, 10 nays.
There being 10 ayes and 10 nays, the motion does not prevail. Members, we'll move now to the first.
Welcome back here inside Studio 9. You were just watching live programming from inside the Minnesota State Capitol, the Minnesota House Committee. That was a very contentious back and forth discussion about the sale and possession of ghost guns. 10 ayes, 10 nays, the motion not adopted there. You're probably wondering, Pierre Noujaim is here in studio with me. It's because we got some a wrestling segment coming up here next.
You know, I love having the discussion when the pro wrestlers come to town, and we got a show coming up tomorrow night that I'm super pumped for. You're super pumped for.
So this is AEW
That's
Dynamite
right.
Wrestling.
Right.
Coming to the Roy Wilkins Auditorium in St. Paul?
That is correct. They'll be in town tomorrow night. A show that I'm trying to convince the bosses to let me do, because I'm filling in for Jim Rich tomorrow on the anchor desk tomorrow night. So I'm going to try to let the bosses let me do the show live out from the Roy Wilkins for the evening. We'll see if they agree to that.
Jim Rich in Baltimore for the Twins opening day on Thursday, of course. Right. What makes AEW, while we're getting our guest Bishop Kahn, a Minneapolis native, Why do we get what is AEW? What's the difference between AEW and WWE?
Well, they're two separate promotions. There's no doubt about it. AEW still on the younger side. The last handful of years, they emerged and came on the scene, and they've got a lot of young, great talent. Really a tremendous promotion that has done well and continues to do well. You know, the way you kind of separate yourself, I think, from promotions, you got to try to find a way to do some things differently. AEW, I think, has gotten creative with some of their bookings and some of their matches. So it's a promotion that has done awfully well for itself in its infancy related, as opposed to related to WWE. But, a promotion that has done really, really well and gained a lot of steam over the last few years.
Yeah, you mentioned that AEW has a lot of young talent. One of those young talent superstars that's with AEW is Minneapolis' very own Bishop Kahn. He joins us now. Bishop Kahn, welcome to the afternoon shift.
Yes, sir.
I appreciate y'all having me.
Super pumped to have you, Bishop. Thanks for joining the show.
Yes, thanks for coming on. Bishop, I was reading you about you. You're from Minneapolis. You called yourself a reserved, quiet kid from Washburn High School, and now you're a pro wrestler. That doesn't exactly breed young or quiet, reserved people, does it?
No, not at all. It's kind of like an alter ego that I would just raise my hand doing talent shows, and I would just put myself into the spotlight. And I think there was a part of me that just really enjoyed that. So give myself some time, maybe 10, 15 years later, chase this dream of pro wrestling, and now I can't get enough.
Yeah, no question about it. Bishop, the fact that you're able to perform tomorrow night in front of the hometown fans, I know you probably were hounded for tickets, but what is it like being able to perform in front of friends, family? It's got to be a special feeling, I would imagine.
Yeah, it's truly an honor just to come back to this city and represent for the city. I feel like when anybody makes it out of Minneapolis, Minnesota, you always have to you carry the state's pride on your back, and you just gotta show up for them. So I think I got like 20, 30 people showing up to the show, to the stands, and they better be chanting my name the entire time, honestly, because otherwise I'm going to have a problem.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You're right about that. And Bishop, as you know, you were born and raised here, so and you're very well aware of all the wrestling talent that has really come from this state, the Twin Cities, and you are just one of many as well. Can you speak to how you really got into pro wrestling and really the state of Minnesota, some of the superstars that they've created along the pro wrestling circuit?
I think I got into it just like any other kid. Some kid came over to my house, put in a VHS tape, and then first thing I saw was D-Generation X, the Hardy Boys.
Yes.
Early 2000s, 90s. I feel like wrestling was just a hotbed. It was so passionate. The fans were crazy. It was the aggressive era. It was just so monumental as a time, and now it's just continued to build. And after college, did grad school, had a full-time job. I feel like there was a part of me missing, and I feel like I would regret my life if I didn't chase this dream. So then I just signed up, and it kind of worked out for me because I'm really good at wrestling. So
no doubt about it.
It's definitely worked out, Bishop. But where's the name Bishop Kahn come from?
One of my best friends that actually got me into wrestling helped me come up with the name. Bishop was my favorite X-Men growing up as a kid, and then he referenced Genghis Khan.
Really?
Ruler destroying civilizations. He was like, let's just put those two together. He's like, let's just encapsulate that character for you. So that's where that came from.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
That is a really, really cool way to make your name out in the business.
What would your name be, Pierre?
Nothing cool like that, I can promise you that. I'd have to really think about that on that one. But Bishop, at AEW, like I was just telling Adam, you guys have come up with so much interesting storyline matches. What you guys are doing at AEW really has been exciting over the last couple of years. You with King Ricochet right now in Total Leona and the Gates of Agony and everything you guys are doing. Where do you feel like you're at right now in terms of your career with these guys and some of the damage, I should say, that you've inflicted on opponents over the last few years with this faction?
We haven't even scratched the surface yet, honestly. What you've seen has just been a glimpse of how talented all we are. Ricochet is one of the best in the world. Tola and myself are new, still pretty young tag team, but we have so much expertise behind us. Ricochet is just a great mentor. And honestly, we barely scratched the surface. We want trios gold, tag team gold, singles gold. And AEW is where the best wrestle, and we're some of the best wrestlers there. So as long as we get more opportunities, more pain to come for people, more championship gold. We're on our quest for gold, so we're just getting started.
Yeah. I need to know what the Gates of Agony is because I don't need to go anywhere near there.
Well, that's the tag team name right there. You want to come up with more cool names. Bishop's got one, and Bishop is one half of the Gates of Agony.
That's okay. All right. I don't want to be part of the Gates of Agony.
No, trust me. You want no part of that. No part of that.
Sounds very dangerous. Bishop, where can people go buy tickets for tomorrow night?
They can get tickets at Ticketmaster, AEW Tick, and there's still seats available. So come on out to the Roy Wilkins Auditorium. Again, AEW is where the best wrestle. It's a variety show. We have luchadors, high flyers, brawlers, grapplers, tag team, women wrestling. It's going to be an amazing show. So just come out and support, and you're going to have a great time.
No, Bishop, as I told Adam over here, I'm supposed to be on the anchor desk tomorrow night, but I'm trying to convince the bosses to let me do some live shots from out there tomorrow night post-show. I'm going to see if I can get the whole crew out there for the show post AEW Dynamite tomorrow night. I'd be psyched. I would be absolutely psyched.
Just got to demand it.
Absolutely, 100%.
Bishop, what's the first thing that you're eating when you get back to Minnesota?
Oh, probably poutine.
Oh, that's a good call.
Oh, isn't that the Canadian stuff with
I don't
the
know,
gravy?
but we do it better in yeah. 100%. No, that's a good call. That's fantastic.
I can't say I've ever had that
Oh,
before.
yeah. Well, Bishop, we could tell you all about it. There's no doubt.
Or Juicy Lucy as well.
There you go.
There you have it.
I would ask Bishop about the poutine, but I'm too scared of the gates of agony. I don't want to be anywhere
Listen,
near that.
Everybody, if you're eating some poutine, nobody's mad at you right there. You take a break from the wrestling scene, you eat some poutine, you're going to be fine, right, Bishop?
I'm a nice guy. I'm a very nice guy.
Very nice guy.
I believe it. I believe it, Bishop. Thank you so much for joining us today. We really do appreciate it.
Thanks, Bishop.
Thank you so much for having me.
Appreciate it. Thank you, Tom. It's going to be a great show.
You can see the quiet, reserved side in him. Yeah.
But like you said, you don't want to see the gates of agony side that come out in him when he and Toa Leona, tag up in AEW. So
yes.
It should be a lot of fun. Like I said, AEW is a really cool promotion that's going on around right now. So if you want, you want to have some fun, you're not doing anything on a Wednesday night, you're not going to be disappointed.
Yes, perfect. That's a good segue because the Minnesota hockey program, they've got a tag team of new coaches. Yesterday we heard from Greg Boom May, and now we're about to hear from Brett Larson. There's Paul Rovnak,
Yep, there's Paul.
the communications director for Minnesota Athletics. And let's listen in live inside Dinkytown to hear from new men's hockey coach Brett Larson
as well, and then we will conclude the press conference. So I would like to bring up Director of Athletics, Mark Quill.
All right, thank you, Paul. Good afternoon, everybody. We appreciate everybody taking time to come out today. And it's ironic we just did this yesterday with Boom and Coach May. So excited to be back here today to introduce our next men's hockey coach. Of course, I want to express my gratitude and appreciation to President Cunningham and our Board of Regents. We have such great alignment on this campus, and just really grateful for her support and our Board of Regents. I also want to thank our men's hockey student athletes. I see some of them spread throughout here. Anytime you go through a change, it creates anxiety, and I'm really grateful how you all handled that. I appreciate your support and your patience as we worked our way through this process. I want to make sure I thank the search committee. Peyton Owens, who chaired that search committee, our deputy athletics director, did a wonderful job. We also had Jenny Yalen, Tricia Butke, Dusty Clements, Kevin Gomer, our faculty athletic rep, Francis Homans, and of course, Lou Nanny was a part of that committee. So I'm really grateful for the work of our search committee. When we made our choice of Brett Larson, when I think of Minnesota hockey, I think of competing at the highest level and having success at the highest level. And when you look at Brett, you see his involvement with 4 national championship games. You see that he's been a part of 3 gold medals. This dude has competed at the highest level. He has great experience. He has great connections. We talked yesterday how college hockey is changing dramatically, and I'm absolutely convinced we've got the right person to lead our program as we move forward. So please join me in welcoming head coach Brett Larson. Hold it up. Go to the side here so you get some photos.
I always wanted one of those when I was getting recruited as a kid, but never got offered one. So nice to finally hold one. First off, I want to thank President Cunningham and Mark Coyle right off the start for this amazing opportunity, and one that to me is such a huge honor. It means the world to me to be here right now and be a part of a program like this and be in front of you, and I want to thank them so much. I want to thank Peyton Owens and the search committee as well, and Lou Nanny, and we're getting our band back together on TV there. We got Jim Rich and Pat Micheletti back, so we used to work with them quite a bit up at St. Cloud, and really looking forward to that again. So I think the biggest thing for me is just this. It's really being a part of something this special. The tradition the most storied hockey program in college hockey, the history. You know, I grew up in Minnesota, and when you see the Gophers play, you knew them. You're a little kid, they were men, and you watch them. You might as well be watching the Montreal Canadiens. I mean, they were big time. And I'll never forget my first college game. It was up in Duluth at the deck, and we got to play the Gophers that first game. And puck went in the zone. I was a defenseman, started coming around the wall, and I went down to pinch to keep it in, and this guy named Trent Klatt just absolutely rolled me right over, hammered me right down, got up, helmet turned, snot bubbles out of the neck, one of those you can't find your way back to the bench, and I realized I'm in big boy college hockey now. And it was a moment when I realized that this program just has something special. The history of it, the championships, I think, but more importantly than that, the people. And the people that I've been hearing from today has been so much fun. The guys that I played against, a lot of the former Gophers, and the guys that I got to coach, whether it be in the Olympics or a couple World Juniors. The people is what makes this place special, and that's very clear. It was so much fun to sit down in the locker room today, and I told the guys, I said, when we sat there, I said, hey, do you guys still feel this a little bit? Because it feels pretty cool to sit here right now. Don't forget it, right? Don't take it for granted. Every day, let's make sure we know we're walking into something special. And we're playing for all the people that built this program before us and all the people that put the bricks in the wall. And every day we come to the rink, we're playing for something bigger than us. So that's something that I'm really, really proud to be a part of. You look at the history from you know, John Mariucci to John Mayasich, and then all the great coaches and players in between, all the way up to Coach Motzko. And Coach Motzko did such a great job here. So many good things. Did a great job with the alumni. Got the stands going again. The fans are back. So many good things in college hockey. Bob, just a legendary ambassador of the game and somebody that's given so much. And I'm just in a unique position, I think, as a coach. And he's given me 2 programs in a row, and they're darn good when I get there. And I got to thank him for that. So I am really, really honored to be here today. It's a special place, and I'm proud to be a part of it. So thanks for welcoming me today. Thank you. Yeah.
We'll now take questions. As a reminder, if you have a question, please raise your hand, and we'll bring a microphone to you.
Hey, Chris.
Chris Long from Channel 5. How are you? Good to see you.
Go.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
How different is the landscape in college hockey? How did you adapt to it in St. Cloud, and how different is the ability to adapt to that here at Minnesota?
I think we've got a really unique situation where we can adapt quickly and fast. Obviously, it's changed quick with the transfer portal, NIL, CHL players being eligible. I think this puts us in a place, I think, to be really aggressive, to get out after the recruits that we want. Obviously, for the most part, we've got such great homegrown talent, and you're going to base your recruiting out of here. But boy, there's some opportunities now to supplement with difference makers. I think you need to be nimble, you need to be ready for it, and I think it puts us in a really good spot.
Dawn Mitchell, Fox 9.
Don.
To jump off that, the recruiting class that Bob has left you coming in, and with the gentlemen that are here already, how happy are you to be able to be in that position to take this talent forward to the next generation?
Well, the guys here, they all want to be on the power play, so that's why they showed up today, I think. So that's probably why they're here. But obviously, I'm very excited. This is not a rebuild, right? This is not. This program has, been winning championships, and I know last year didn't go the way it hoped, but it's not a rebuild. It's maybe a little bit of a retweak, right? And I know when I went into St. Cloud and came in behind Bob the first time, I asked the players, what are the little things? What are the little areas where we can get better? How do we find that little bit of a margin that's the difference between winning and losing games at this level? Because that margin's pretty small. Everybody's good. So that's going to be my job, is to identify some of those little things. And I think it's going to be to bring some of what Bob always did so well, and hopefully I can build on that and take some of the things that I learned along the way and put us right back to where we want to be this year.
Go up here, Timmy.
Hey, man.
Hey, Brett. I don't know, have you started to look, I guess, at filling your staff, or where are you guys kind of at with that?
Yeah, I'll meet with the current staff here over the next couple days, and I've reached out to a few other people that may be interested, so I would think over the next few days we'll fill that out.
Randy, do you have a question?
Randy Johnson, Star Tribune. Brett, you grew up in Duluth. You're a Bulldog. How do you become a Gopher, and who were the biggest influences in your career?
From the Gophers?
Overall.
Overall? I mean, there's a ton of them. You know, I grew up playing in an era with some guys that I just got to know in the select 16 and 17 camps. Craig Johnson, Darby Hendrickson, some of these guys that I grew up with every summer. Craig would come up to my cabin up in Duluth in the summer, and we'd hang out quite a bit. You know, some of those guys, Corey Leyland, Joe Diedzik, kind of the guys in my era that I've always kind of looked up to and played against, and we're still good buddies to this day. So just saw John Brill up at the rink the other day, and he's a guy that I used to spend some time with. So I signed a contract in Slovenia one year. My career wasn't obviously going great because that's the best place I could find to play, but it was me, Corey Leyland, and John Brill were the three imports there, so me and a couple of Gophers. The one thing about becoming a Gopher is I think it's pretty clear we're going to all be in this thing together right away. There's no doubt. This team wants to win. We want to be good. We want to be special this year. For me to get into that locker room, I have to be genuine. I have to be with these guys every day. They have to know I'm with them, and I got to build trust. I think the biggest thing is building trust, building relationships with them, and making sure they know I've got their back and we're in this thing together and we're going to get it done. So it's not going to be hard for me to become a Gopher quick. There's too much history, too much tradition, too many people have put the bricks in the wall, and it's too exciting to be a part of it.
Mike Russo with the Athletic. Can you reflect back on on how you became a coach and to get to this point? I was told today that Scott grabbed you out of medical sales.
Yeah.
I bet you could not have envisioned that you'd be standing here at that point.
Yeah, that's funny. I don't know if I want to bore people with this whole story, but so yeah, I got out of playing, and like a lot of players, medical sales was the big thing. I'd run into Brian Bonin, he was selling stuff, and other guys, and so I signed on with this company called Abbott Laboratories, and they didn't tell me what my product was going to be. So you go into some training, and then eventually they tell you what you're going to be selling. And my product was Similac infant formula, and I had no kids. I had no idea what I was doing. I was going into United Hospital here in St. Paul, trying to convince the nurses in the NICU and in some of the other areas to use Similac. And so how I did that actually turned United Hospital from an infant hospital to Similac. I'm really boring people now with this baby formula thing, all right? But how I did it was this. Me, Joe Diedzik, I'm trying to think of who else would have been there. Multiple Gophers would play Tuesday night hockey out of Parade Arena. And we'd finish about 10:30. We'd go down to the Green Mill, hang out for a little bit. And when I'd finish up at the Green Mill, I'd grab a big fresh pizza, and I'd go feed the night nurses at United. And I'd just go in there and my stuff and hang out with them. And I found out real quick, sales is mostly about people liking you. They didn't care if it was Infamil or Similac. It was those relationships. And that's a little bit about coaching too, right? A big part of it is mostly the relationship. So I think I learned a little bit in my formula slinging days.
Eric Vigo, Gopher Puck Live.
Eric.
Throughout this whole process, I've been hearing from a lot of people in Duluth about the relationships you've formed. One of them special is Hoagie.
Yeah.
And at his celebration of life, you spoke very well about him. What do you think he'd say to you, seeing you up here as the coach of the Gophers?
So I don't know.
And what would you tell him back?
How many people know him? But Hoagie's been a part of the Bulldog program forever. 60-some years old, with the program for 40-some years, mentally handicapped, and just one of the best friends of the program you could ever ask for. Just an unbelievable human being. I could get in a lot of stories on that guy too. When I was playing out in San Diego, he'd say he's coming out for a week, he'd end up for 2, and then somehow he found a way to get on our flight to Anchorage for another week to go play up there. So anyway, a lot of stories about Hoagie. Yeah, I've got my phone has never blown up like this with text messages today, and most from Duluth are saying Hoagie'd be turning over in his grave today. Unfortunately, but he was a special person and obviously a really good friend. Thanks.
Brett, with all the changes in college hockey, NIL, transfer portal, Canadian juniors coming in, do you feel you'll need to have a GM type of a position on your staff?
Yeah, it's something I'm looking at right now. It's interesting because that GM role is a lot. it's a name of a role, right? Technically, they're still just one of your assistant coaches. I think back in the day, we used to call it a recruiting coordinator, right? So where one of your 3 assistants is really focused on recruiting the most. What I'm going to do is meet with the staff. I think I have a pretty good feeling of whose strengths are where and where they lie. And then what we'll do is put the people in the right spots. It's kind of like the power play. I know I got really great people right now, but the biggest part of the power play is where do you put them? You put the right people in the right spots and we'll be successful. So definitely looking at something like that. I'm not sure that we'll use that exact title, but we will definitely have somebody whose priority is recruiting. We want to be a staff, though, that everybody recruits. I think recruiting is critical. I'm a big believer in it. We all are. I know the staff in the room is as well. You've got some of the best recruiters in the world sitting back here, and it's the lifeline of the program. It's got to be a team effort. The head coach has to be very involved. So for me, it's going to be the priority number one here, starting a few minutes ago. So.
Brett, just it's less than a week since Bob left. What was this process like for you? How much anxiety? How often did you talk to Mark and the committee? All of that.
Yeah, there was. These hockey world's funny. Everybody wants a scoop, kind of like your world, right? Like everybody wants the scoop. Everyone's trying to figure out who's in, who isn't, who they're talking to, who they're not. But for me, it was a pretty seamless process. Mark and I talked a few times, obviously go through the interview process with the committee. For me, I was, strategically trying to have some people that I thought had a good opinion on things and why they thought I should be here, reach out to Mark, and I appreciate the people that did that. Had some really good people in my corner that are friends and people that I've worked with before. So it was really nice to kind of just feel a lot of people pushing for me and getting behind me and believing that I could do it.
Hi, Brett. John Shipley with the St. Paul Pioneer Press. You kind of joked that when they gave you that jersey, you said, I wish I got one of these out of high school. And kid from Duluth, and that, to me, that tells you something about this program, right?
Yeah.
Do you feel like you're still there, and like that the Gophers are still that premier
Absolutely.
program? And I'm curious, what was it like to compete against it?
When you're competing against the Gophers?
Yeah, recruiting and.
Well, the one thing I would say when you're competing against them, they always get the other team's best because, to be honest, you're trying to prove that you can beat them. You know the Gophers are the best. You know they're the premier of college hockey. It's kind of the standard bearer that you want to prove that you're better than somehow. So I think the Gophers, the one thing is they better be ready. We need to be ready this year because I know that every team playing us, their best punch is coming because they want to prove something against us. And the other teams kind of enjoyed that sometimes too, right? It's that little guy mentality. So I think the most important thing for us is to understand that and making sure we're playing to our identity every night.
Hey, Brett, congratulations. Who's your greatest coaching influence and why?
Oh, boy. I've got a few, and that's why I kind of looked at being prepared or believing I was prepared for this job. And I thought, I've been really fortunate at Duluth to build 2 national championships with Scott Sandelin. Very fortunate with Killer and David Carl, a couple gold medals in the World Juniors. Fortunate to work at Ohio State with Steve Rollick. And I would say that probably the shining moment of my career as a recruiter was, I'd been at Duluth for 3 years. No, sorry, I was at Ohio State for 2. Went to Duluth for 3, recruited both those teams for the most part, or helped. Obviously, it's always help. It's the staff as well. And in that Frozen Four that year, Duluth played Ohio State when I was back at Duluth again. And so the Ohio State guys all came by, giving me the fist bumps. And I just felt very proud to be part of, recruiting 2 national championship teams or Frozen Four teams. So with that said, it's all my experiences. It's hard to pick one. Scott Sandelin national championships, David Quinn in the Olympics, David Carl in the World Juniors, Steve Rollick at Ohio State trying to do something to rebuild a program. So I think it's just kind of all those experiences together that have really helped me.
Eric Vigo again.
Yeah.
What's the difference in those championship teams, and how do you intentionally try to foster that? You've been a part of some championships and gold medals. What's the key?
Yeah, well, I think number one is well, it starts right away with everybody being on the same page. Every common goal, everybody focused on what they want to do. A lot of it is the selection process of picking those teams, right? You want to make sure you have the right talent in the right spots. You want to make sure your power plays are set up the right way. Most importantly, though, I think once you get through those steps that you're looking for, recruiting is the biggest piece. I mean, you want to find kids that are hungry to win. You want to find kids that they want to beat their buddy if they're playing checkers. You know, you want to find the kid that they don't take an off day of trying to beat somebody. And I think when you put talent combined with that kind of gritty, hard work, competitiveness, I think that's when you win. And I think you also have to build your team the right way. Every player can't be the same. You've got to have players that just will do anything to be on the third or fourth line and not only accept it but embrace it. And they know they're supporting the guys in the first or second, trying to work their way up. But when you have that feel that everybody's got that common goal, everybody's skilled but gritty, everybody is together on the mission that they're trying to accomplish, I think that's when it comes. Yeah.
Brett, you talked a little bit about identity in a couple separate sequences back. What does that identity look like? Not necessarily next year, but year 2, year 3, when you really get up and running?
I just like gritty skill. You know, getting after it, playing fast with skill, being on the attack, attacking in the defensive zone to turn pucks over quickly so we can transfer fast, attacking in the neutral zone so we can create turnovers and transfer fast. The offensive zone, being able to use our speed and skill and sticks to be able to attack quickly. I think this team's got a ton of, I know it's got a ton of skill. Let's play fast and aggressive, a little gritty, a little bit of structure, and I think when you play that way, you can be successful. I think we can get up and down the sheet with anybody, and I think well, you know we can. I see the look on your face. We can get up and down the sheet with anybody. I think we continue to build our structure a little bit, play gritty, and have everybody playing that way. That's the plan.
Yeah. I don't know, just describe, I guess, your 8 years at St. Cloud State. Obviously, there were some great moments there for you.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it's just so hard to believe that 8 years ago, I mean, I was driving down 35 and making a right at Hinckley, and Bob was driving down 94 and heading down this way at pretty much the same time. And again, he left me a great team and great kids, the Palin kids and the Schultz and all those kids that I got to coach there. We made a really, really nice run over those 3 and 4 years to get to that national championship game, and obviously a tough one to lose that night. But beating Mankato in the NCAA Frozen Four semifinal was one of the highlights for sure. And then a couple years later, you know, we played some great games with the Gophers. I always joke we beat them up in St. Cloud, and then we played here the next night, and it was 1-1, went to overtime, and we're hanging in there in overtime too, and we're not half as skilled. And then I look out, their last 3 that go out with 30 seconds left were Nyes, Faber, and Cooley. And I got like 2 Finns and a guy from Minnetonka that played a little bit, but and they scored with 8 seconds left to beat us. But anyway, we had a great game with them up in Fargo that year too, to go to the Frozen Four. So a few years later, we're back in that position to get back to the Frozen Four, 1 game away, playing Minnesota. Last year, obviously a difficult year for us, as you know, losing Isaac Posh at Christmas or January 10th. I think we were 10th in the country. Lose our top 2 players with a really young team that wasn't ready to score yet. Really struggled in the second half, and I was really proud of the team this year as far as digging out of a pretty dark hole and starting to come right back up again where we could have beat anybody in the country, and we did. Went into North Dakota, had 2 overtime games with Duluth. I believe we're back on that path again. Every program at that level, you have some ebbs and flows to your seasons, and I felt like now we're right back where we needed to be going.
Take 1 or 2 more for Coach if there are additional questions. So, go ahead, front row.
Hi, Brett. It's nice to meet you.
Hi, nice to meet you.
I'm Jason from the Minnesota Daily. I just want to ask you, why was this the right job for you at this point of your career?
Well, a little bit of what I said before. This is the best opportunity in college hockey. It's the best tradition, the best culture. It's got the best players. It's got the best facilities. It's the place you want to be as a coach. And I felt it was the best opportunity because finally I felt ready. And it was because of all those experiences we talked about. It was going through those national championship games. You know, I was fortunate to be in 4 of them, won 2 and lost 2. So I know what it feels like on each side. to go through those gold medals. And to be honest, to go through a tough season last season and learn how to have to grind through it and get through some difficult times and help your players get through moments that aren't fun, that are hard. When you lose hockey games, it's hard on everybody. It's hard on the staff. It's hard on the players. And I think as a coach, you want to be able to make sure you're coaching through those moments and you're able to keep your team growing even when it's tough. So I just felt like the body of work finally matched up with the best opportunity a coach could ask for.
Do we have a final question for Coach? We'll go back to Randy.
You were a player coach in the minors.
Yeah.
What did you take away from that, and how did that send you on your coaching career?
Well, that's when I was in San Diego, and actually it was a St. Cloud alum, Steve Martinson, that was the head coach. That's where I got the bug for coaching, and I really enjoyed it. Now, on the ice, in the games, you weren't coaching much, but what I really enjoyed was practice planning. I really enjoyed learning, when to push guys based on how much we'd been playing, and learning how to push or pull or have them ready. Putting the roster together in the summer was a lot of fun. So it kind of led me into wanting to be a college coach someday, because it was a little bit like that. It was the practices and it was a lot of the recruiting. So, and I didn't mind doing it in San Diego for 4 years. It wasn't a bad spot to be. So, yeah. So we always were told who couldn't recruit to San Diego, though. So, but anyway. Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Coach. We appreciate your time.
Thanks, everybody.
We will now have Director.
Welcome. Men's hockey coach Brett Larson just formally announced the job today. This is the second straight day that Minnesota has held press conferences for new hockey coaches. Yesterday we heard from Boom May, the new women's coach, and then today Brett Larson, the new men's coach, coming here from St. Cloud State.
Yeah, and we were talking about it with Amy Hockert on All Day. It's the second consecutive time that Minnesota has made a hire from St. Cloud State. Bob Motzko came over from St. Cloud State, and you heard Brett Larson talking about Bob Motzko. A lot of respect between the two of them, and wanting to build off of what Bob Motzko had done. Because let's not forget, even though things didn't turn out the way that I'm sure Bob Motzko and the University of Minnesota wanted it to, Bob Motzko still led this team to a national championship game. They were just a couple of minutes away from winning a national championship. Didn't work out their way against Quinnipiac, but like Brett Larson said, this is not a rebuild. This is still in his mind, even though I think that this program is still living a little too much off of its past accomplishments. There's still a belief that the University of Minnesota, the men's program, is still the gold standard, like you heard Brett Larson talking about. But really, the reality is right now is this program won just 7 games in Big Ten play last year. Finished second to last in the Big Ten Conference. We talk all along about Minnesota being the state of hockey. I think right now you have to kind of look over your shoulder a little bit and look at Michigan, because Michigan State and Michigan right now 1 and 2 in the Big Ten. The state of Michigan has produced some really good hockey teams and really good hockey players.
Yes.
And if I'm not mistaken, I think the last time the University of Minnesota won a national championship, if I could reach, Paul, you might have to double check this, but I think it was 2003, if I'm not mistaken. That was the last time the men's program won a national championship. That's a long time.
It is a long time.
And it's a long time if you're considered to be the gold standard in the sport. College hockey is not like college football. It's not like college basketball. It's 2000. Oh, see, I was right. 2003. Thank you very much, Grace. There's a much more shallow pool in terms of teams and programs. So it's not like college football and college basketball. So if you're the gold standard of the shallow pool, you're expected to win a lot.
Yes.
The men have not done that. Like we just heard, 2003 was the last time they won a national championship. So now it's up to Brett Larson to have this program live up to that standard that he proclaims it should be at.
Do you believe the Minnesota men's hockey coach is the equivalent of Notre Dame or Alabama football coach or the Duke basketball coach? Does it have that sort of, machismo, or I don't know what the word is here.
That kind of aura to it a little bit.
Yeah,
I do actually. And even though, I was critical just a moment ago of the program and where it really is in terms of where it falls in terms of hierarchy these days in college hockey. Yeah, to answer your question, I definitely think that Minnesota, that coaching job is still one of the most prestigious jobs out there in all of college hockey, because like Brett said, you still look at it as if it is the gold standard. And if it's fallen on hard times, or if it's perhaps not living up to that standard where you think it can be, if you are Don the man that they believe you can lead this program back to prominence, I'd be hard pressed to find a college hockey coach in America that wouldn't jump at the chance to coach the University of Minnesota.
Yeah, this is still the same seat that Herb Brooks once inhabited himself, and Herb Brooks considered perhaps the greatest American hockey coach of all time. I would
certainly
say.
make an argument for it. There's no doubt about it.
Yes, so exciting times right now in Dinkytown between Brett Larson and Boom May. Very exciting about all of this. Exciting to have you in Studio 9 with us. We'll see you tomorrow at the Roy Wilkins Auditorium.
Let's hope so. I'm gonna start planting the seeds right now. Maybe we'll do the show tomorrow night from Roy Wilkins out at AEW. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, I know we don't have a ton of time with you, but such a busy sports time here in Minnesota between these new hockey coaches, the Minnesota Wild. They're starting a 3-game road trip tonight down in Florida. The Timberwolves, they got 10 games left.
Starting tomorrow at home against Houston,
which is a huge game.
Big game.
Because the difference between them and Houston is just a half game.
That's
between
correct.
number 5 and number 6. So much good stuff happening here. The Twins opening day. How could I forget
on Thursday.
them? That's on Thursday in Baltimore. And I think their home opener is next Friday, and it'll be here on Fox 9 too, correct?
That is correct, and I just hope that the weather cooperates because I really don't feel like standing out there. I think my first opening day here, I think the high was 22, might have been 26.
Yeah, no.
That was in 2018. That was a disaster. I hope we're not going to have a repeat of that
Yes.
next week at the home opener.
Yeah, and just to add onto the all the sports happenings here in Minnesota, we're 88 days away from the Special Olympics USA Games.
Yeah.
That's a big event that'll be happening at the University of Minnesota this upcoming June. We have 2 Special Olympics Minnesota athletes that are about to come in studio, David Booth, Tyler Sarf. They're part of the planning committee for the games.
Fantastic. It's a great event. It really is.
Absolutely, absolutely. So we got some Special Olympics talk coming up right after this. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back inside Studio 9. We have 2 of my very good friends I've made here in the state of Minnesota here with me. We are just 88 days away from the Special Olympics USA Games. We have 2 Special Olympics Minnesota athletes, Tyler Sarf, David Booth. They're both involved in the planning of the games. So they're here inside Studio 9. Gentlemen, welcome here back to the afternoon shift.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Yes.
Thank you, Adam.
Yes.
Appreciate to be here.
88 days away. It's incredible.
Yeah, it's coming up quick.
It is coming up quick.
You know, I remember the day, May 4th, 2022, when we announced the games at Huntington Bank Stadium. And it just seems surreal that we're at this moment.
We're at this moment. We're very, very close. And you guys are at this moment right now inside the afternoon shift. I know it's not your first time inside the Fox-Sign building. Is it your first time, Tyler, inside the Fox-Sign building?
Yeah, this is my first time here.
Yeah. Who are some of your favorite Fox 9 personalities that you have here?
Ian Leonard happens to be my favorite weatherman in the state.
Ian Leonard, he's your favorite weather,man in the entire state?
Yes, he is.
Yeah. What about you, David?
Well, Ian's just on a whole different universe at this point.
Why is Ian on such a different universe?
Well, I think it's pretty self-explanatory. Anybody who meets Ian, you're like, I can't get enough of this guy. I don't know what it is, but you just can't get enough of him.
I know it.
He's such a big supporter for our movement. It's infectious.
Exactly. Yeah. Ian Leonard, it's incredible. You know, I'm not sure if he's here today or not. I would have told. Oh, wait a second. Wait.
Oh, speak of the devil.
There he is. We got Ian Leonard here. What's up, Ian? How you doing?
I love it.
Here. It's your first time meeting Ian. Yes. Yeah. Perfect. Awesome.
Good. How are you?
Good. You guys are
good.
Man, everyone's here. I'm going to do
Yes.
this.
Yes.
You guys are all decked out in the gear,
Yes,
and
we
I'm
are.
wearing a monkey suit.
Oh, you look great.
David keeps
better
going
a
like
monkey
this.
suit than
David's
walk
looking
around
at
as a
himself.
chef.
David's looking at himself in the monitor like this. I don't know what's going on. How's
Dave,
it going?
Good. How about yourself?
Oh, it's pretty good. This is the big time. You guys
Yes,
are on the
it
big
is.
time. This is the big show
Oh,
with
yeah.
the big man. This
Yes.
Oh, yes.
This is really, really cool.
Uh-huh.
What were you
This is
guys
nothing.
talking?
This is
What were
nothing.
you talking
This is
about when
nothing.
I interrupted?
Oh, we were just talking about
Oh,
the
it's
planning.
pretty obvious on my shirt.
Oh, yeah.
What? Is there something going on?
No, just a typical summer weekend, that's all.
Whatever could it be, Adam?
88 days. We're 88 days away from the Special Olympics USA Games. Tyler and David are both part of the planning committee here. Ian, perhaps the biggest Special Olympics supporter, I would say, in the entire.
No.
He's pretty down low.
There's a lot of people
Yes.
who do. I'm just,
Yes.
I'm part of the inclusion revolution. I'm part of the
There you go.
community,
There
and
you
I'm
go.
part of the movement.
There you go.
I just happen to sometimes have one of these and go, "Hey, everybody, welcome." That's about the only difference between all of us, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
And sometimes he gets lifted by athletes.
Yes.
Yeah, which is really,
I've seen
really
that
cool.
before, too.
Wait, are we talking literally lifted? Like you're picking him up?
Yep.
No,
we have a great story about that one.
Well, share it. What
Muscles
what
on
happened?
these guys.
Yeah, you should check out mine.
He was giving Ian over here, who's as wonderful as always. He was giving a speech at a fundraising event we had at White Bear Lake, and we were just feeling the energy and the joy and the inclusion that was being brought about in that environment. And I just felt so excited. I gave Ian the biggest hug known to man. I literally lifted him up, and I had to write an apology email.
Oh, no. He wrote an apology. I'm like, you never have to apologize for anything when it comes to that sort of stuff. But he's so sweet. I mean, you're always super sweet, and you're always so kind with your words. But listen, I mean, 88 days. This is a big deal.
Yes.
And I was on the phone with Bill Fish, who's president and CEO of Special Olympics Minnesota earlier, probably like an hour ago. And we were talking about, the Launch Minnesota party that we're going to have with 2,000 athletes, 2,000 supporters. Then we'll all go over and muster in the stadium. Then we get to walk in the stadium for...
Yes.
It's like...
Yeah. We're excited.
It's going to be awesome.
It is going to be awesome. It's going to be awesome. It was so much fun for me. I was at the 2022 USA Games with you, Tyler, down in
Yeah, in fact,
down in Orlando.
that's how Adam and I met.
Yeah, we met at the bowling alley.
He's been like a fungus ever since.
Yeah.
Can't get rid of him. He uses special soap and everything.
boy.
He keeps coming back.
Can't get rid of me. Well, there's probably a lot of people out there that probably don't know what the USA Games are. Can you all tell us what that's all about?
Yeah, for sure. You can start and I'll add on.
Well, sounds great. This event is one of the largest, if not the largest, humanitarian competitions put not just in our country, but in the world. We are going to have over 3,200 athletes competing in 16 sports at the U of M campus and up at the National Sports Complex in Blaine. On top of that, we're running an inclusive work fair to help bridge the gap of employment with people with intellectual disability, because there's a sizable gap. And on top of that, we have the largest health operation that we're going to be running, where all 3,200 athletes are going to be able to go through health screenings that include dental health, eye health, and physical health.
Mm-hmm.
It truly is just magical what's going to be done here. And it's going to be all hands on deck.
Yeah.
Like, we're going to have over 15 to 17,000 volunteers. And so if you want, please come on out and help support this. Because even though we have athletes like Tyler here, who is the champions above champions, anybody who gets involved with the USA Games are a champion. Because you can showcase your unity and your love for your fellow man, woman, or child at this incredible humanitarian event.
I don't know if I could top that, but he's a man of his words, and that's why I have a blog about him.
Yes.
Yeah, but
David
yeah.
is a walking, talking soundbite.
Yes,
I
he
was
is.
gonna say,
But
yeah.
Tyler,
you hit it now.
Yeah. So yeah, this event, like the regular Olympics, takes place every 4 years, and for us to be the next host state it's really exciting, and I'm super excited to welcome all the out-of-state teams and their families to our great land of 10,000 lakes. Over 11,000 by last count, if I recall correctly. But yeah, we're gonna have fun.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And I think one of the coolest things too is that you're competing as a state against other states too, and there are no losers with the Special Olympics USA.
Heck
Games.
no.
Everybody is a winner.
Everyone's a winner.
I just think it's really cool that you get to bond with the other Minnesota athletes, especially, and go out there and compete as the state of Minnesota in your home state. What's that going to mean to you to compete as Minnesota in the state of Minnesota?
Yeah, it's beyond words. I'm excited about it, but to compete alongside other athletes that have a tremendous story to tell, it's gonna be really fun.
Yeah.
Pardon me if I stuttered, but this is how excited I am for the games.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'm glad you said that, Tyler, and you expressed that excitement, because it's through that excitement that for someone like me and the rest of the LOC team, because I serve on the board of directors and I also co-chair the Athlete Advisory Council with Tyler here.
Just a big
that
flex.
excitement.
Just a big flex. Way to go, David. Keep flexing, brother. I love it. Keep flexing, brother.
Hey, you guys are my energy that allows me to flex.
There you
And
go.
that's the point I want to get across. Your excitement, Tyler, your joy, and the rest of Team Minnesota and the nation fuels not just me, but the entire leadership team to deliver this competition to the best of our abilities and ensure that it is athlete driven. Because that's when you know, whether you're a fan or a volunteer, when you walk into that event, you know it is made for the people we serve. And we are proud to serve people like you, Tyler.
Thank
We were
you. I
talking-
appreciate that.
This is a great message. I was talking
Yes,
about
it's a
that
great message.
with Bill Fish from Special Olympics Today, and I said, "Look, and you guys don't even know this. This is all brand. This is going to be news to you. So I'm going to be putting together 5 special long form stories that will air every night of the games, and we're hoping that Fox National picks it up. But we'll be streaming it on all our platforms. We'll be focused intensely on the athletes and the movement and what this all means. It's a really cool deal. I mean, I just added like 120 work hours to my month of May, but I'm good because you know it, man. I'm like, praise the Lord, here we come. It's Special Olympics.
You know, I love how you said that, Ian, because I know that feeling too. Like, heck, last night they asked me to do a video interview this morning, and it's like, you understand, like, and we all understand, this is crunch time. And
Oh,
it's-
yeah.
And most importantly, to be able to deliver those stories and to tell those stories. It's not about us. Yeah, we got this incredible opportunity as leadership
for
members and people who share the stories of the incredible inclusion revolution. But it's to give those stories to those who aren't having their stories told, to give them the light, because they deserve it, because they have busted their butts off to get here. So they deserve to be shown.
And David brought up a really interesting point about employment. And look, I'll say it. It's like the elephant in the middle of every room when we talk about Special Olympics athletes, people with intellectual and physical disabilities. They are downtrodden. There are people who abuse the ability to make them employable. They don't pay them enough. They're in terrible working conditions, and it's I mean, shame on the people who do this.
Yeah.
And this is our opportunity to say, no, it's not about saying shame. It's about lifting up. And going past all that, putting it in the rear view mirror. There's a reason it's called a rear view mirror, because it allows you to look back. This isn't about looking back. This is about grabbing everybody who has intellectual and physical disabilities and saying,
Yeah.
we can do it. Yeah. This is a community of inclusion. And if you need people to work, if you need help, man, they are here and they are ready, and they are an amazing group of individuals who need to be treated with the utmost respect, just like everybody else.
Yes.
I want to add one last thing on that, Ian, because what you said is so beautiful, and I want to expand that. It is, as much as it is for us with people with intellectual disabilities, it's for everyone. Because there are so many people out there that are like, well, do I want to be a part of this? Or, I don't know. You could sense the light is in there, but they don't know how to properly express that light. We offer an environment. I'll remember a quote that Tim Shriver said at the 2025 Turin Games. He said, "This is Special Olympics country. We, in our country, we don't see differences. We don't see barriers. And most importantly, we see you as the everyday resident wanting inclusion. Come be a part of this, because you deserve inclusion as much as anybody else. And the best part is you can be who you are, because we want you for you."
I love it.
Okay. I'm going to take that a step further. So imagine you're in the kitchen in the morning and you've just made the perfect piece of toast. And you've got your favorite jelly or jam or marmalade or peanut butter, whatever you put on your toast. And you turn quickly and the plate falls.
Oh, yeah.
And you're like, oh no. But then you look down and the toast falls jelly side up. That's the best day ever, because you can still eat it.
Exactly.
The jelly is up. It's just toasted.
Yeah,
at the
you
floor.
could. Yeah.
That is like every day. Always live every day.
Yes.
Like everything happened and it fell jelly side up.
Yes.
Because it means the day's bright. Nothing can bring you down. Nothing can ruin your day, man.
Exactly.
We're jelly side up.
Exactly.
Tyler and David and I, we're that's our new band. We're starting
Jelly
a new band.
side up.
Yo, what's up? We're jelly side up.
Jelly side up. I love it. I love it. Oh, David, you talk about how people can get involved, how people can really help shine the light. How can people get involved with the Special Olympics USA Games? Minnesota residents that might be watching this right now.
Oh, please say so.
So, actually, what you can do is go to our website, which is 2026 Special Olympics USA Games.org, and click on volunteer, because it's all hands on deck. Let's show that Minnesota pride. We may be Minnesota nice, but we are Minnesota humility and compassion.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
And it's every kind of volunteer.
There you go.
You know, and people say, well, I don't know what I could do.
Yeah.
It's helping to get athletes from place to place in the whole grand scheme of things, walking around. It's parking lots. Yeah. It's traffic. It's mixing up Gatorade. It is literally everything you could think of.
Yeah.
And on top of that, you could just come. Be a fan. Just come and see it.
Yeah.
And I said this before, we may have athletes like Tyler who are champions among champions, but the fact that you showcased your bravery and your humility by just showing up tells you you are a champion just like everybody else.
Yeah. You're a champion the second you walk up to the starting line.
Yeah.
It's right from that moment. You're it, man. That's it.
Yeah,
exactly.
We're jelly side up.
Jelly side up. The Special Olympic spirit is so alive here. Tyler, what sports? David's calling you a champion of champions. What champion sport are you part of?
I am on our softball team, so I will be on the softball diamond at the games this summer.
Okay. What position? Are you a pitcher, or what are you doing here?
Normally, in my regular position with my yearly team, I'm usually right field, but I've been practicing third base recently.
Okay, all right. I mean, we met at the bowling alley. You were just rolling strikes left and right.
Yeah, I mean, I was a good bowler before Orlando, but, I'm okay. I don't know. But you saw my skill firsthand, but thank you for the compliment.
Tyler just goes, I mean, like, if I get a strike, it's high fives for everybody.
Exactly, everybody gets a high five.
No. If he gets 3 strikes, he's all buying us Thanksgiving.
Oh, brother.
That's right. It's a turkey. That's right.
It's a turkey.
That's right.
Is that what it is? Three strikes in
a row. I think so. Yeah.
I don't know your fancy bowling lingo.
And 4 strikes in a row is called a ham bone.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay. So we can shout oink when that happens.
All right. Perfect. We'll definitely do that.
Okay. Sweet.
David, are you competing in the games?
No, I am strictly serving on the board of directors and on the athlete advisory council. Which
and I wish he was competing with us.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate that, Tyler.
Of
but
course.
honestly, as I mentioned earlier, the fact that you guys can go out there, enjoy yourselves, and celebrate means more to me than anything else, because that's what drives me to try to speak as best I can for you guys, and not just for Minnesota, but the entire nation, because these games are for you guys. Because by you being you, I am forever grateful. And this is my way of saying thank you, and for the rest of the team to say thank you, because you guys are brave. You guys are the Incredibles, and we are forever grateful to you. That's why we bust our butts off to do this. And that's why, as I said in an earlier show, I'm going to be walking on April 18th, 26 straight miles. To help
I've
raise
got to
money.
sponsor you still. I'm sorry I haven't sponsored you yet.
It's all good, man.
We got to sponsor him.
You want to talk more about your walk on April 18th?
So I will be walking from Coon Rapids, Minnesota, to Huntington Bank Stadium straight. It will be 26 straight miles. Rain, shine, snow, sleet, whatever. I will walk it in honor of Tyler and the rest of Team Minnesota and the great athletes across our great nation.
I appreciate that, and that's why you're a true leader of our movement.
Thanks, man.
Yeah,
I try my
hey,
best.
you deserve the spotlight too, you know.
Spotlight is great, but the true greatness is seeing people happy and smiling about life every day.
I
Can you listen? Is it just me, or could we listen to David talk all day? I mean,
Future
my
president of the United States someday,
seriously,
maybe?
Yes.
He's awesome. I mean, you know what? I mean, apart from somebody who gets it, he lives it every day. And that's that's the true meaning of the word celebrating this movement.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of times, you think I'm old. You may not. I know you don't. I know you don't think I am. God bless you. But I'm old. I remember, being in elementary school back in the day, back in the 70s, when there wasn't a movement. It wasn't celebrated. People with intellectual and physical disabilities were considered different. I mean, how terrible a thing that was back then.
Yeah.
And it's taken this long for us to start writing it around, right? And starting to look across the room and saying, no, we're all good.
Yeah.
They're good. I'm good. We're all good.
That's right.
Doesn't matter, whatever our disabilities are, our abilities, the color of our skin, our none of that matters, man. We're all, you know what? I just wish we could all look around the room and be like, we cool.
Right.
We cool?
And the most important thing is you don't need to be a superstar to make a difference in someone's life.
Exactly.
By just listening and just including someone, you've already become the greatest person
just show
on the
up,
planet.
man, and that's what we need the volunteers for. I mean, you know this, Adam.
No doubt.
You've been
Yeah.
a big part of the movement. You'll continue to be a big part of the movement, even when you're on to bigger and better things.
Yes.
But I mean, that's what it's all about. It's not forgetting about the movement.
Yeah.
It's not going to a Special Olympics event and thinking, when I did my bit. It's not going to a polar plunge and saying I did my bit. It's not volunteering at the USA Games and saying I did my bit. It's about showing up. You know, it's a corny line, but you must be present to win.
Yep.
Exactly.
Show up, man.
It's
a jelly side up day, my brothers, and everything is going to be great again tomorrow.
No doubt. No doubt. Thank you all so much for coming in. Ian, thank you for coming in as well.
Listen, I'd love to stick around. I got a real job.
You got a real job. But before you go, we got a camera shot. If you look at the big right camera, we get the jelly side up crew right here. Let's get it in. There it is. We got the super and everything.
Jelly side up.
I love it. Ian, thank you.
Yeah,
David, Tyler, thank you so much for coming in studio. We really do appreciate you all.
Thanks for having us today.
Thank you, Adam.
Thank you so much. And we'll have more from the afternoon shift right after this.
Jelly side up, baby.
Never forget.
We are back here inside Studio 9 for the afternoon shift. We just had an exceptional segment on the show here with David Booth, Tyler Sarf, both Special Olympics Minnesota athletes, both part of the planning committee for the 2026 USA Games. They are coming beginning June 20th, 88 days away. It's going to be held at the University of Minnesota at the National Sports Center in Blaine. We were also joined there by Ian Leonard. It was just such an awesome segment. Ian's such a huge Ian's such a huge supporter of the Special Olympics movement, and it was great to have you all meet him and have him here today. Have you guys, now that you're TV hosts, you can add that to your resume. Have you guys been paying attention to the news at all? What was your favorite news story of the day or the week so far have we had here?
You can go first because mine's related to sports.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
You know, to be honest, I don't really pay super attention to the news.
Yeah.
But honestly, I've just been enthralled what I've seen from social media of just how great the world can be, and most importantly, how inclusive it can be. And actually, so the audience knows, tomorrow is Jersey Mike's Day of Giving.
Oh, that's right.
On March 25th.
Yeah, yes.
I'm going to go.
Where
Yeah, dang, we
all
forgot to bring
proceeds, so any sandwich you buy, anything you buy at Jersey Mike's, it all goes back to the USA Games to support our proud athletes like our big boy Tyler here,
Yes.
who's amazing and deserves all of the sandwiches that you eat for him, so he can go out there along with all of our other athletes and support this great nation and represent what it means to be an athlete, an American, and showcase the best of who we are.
Jersey
Well, I
Mike's
appreciate
tomorrow.
that,
We love that.
Yeah,
We love that.
Jersey Mike's Day of Giving tomorrow.
Yes. Yeah, yeah. All right, so you said you got a sports story that you got your eyes on. What exactly is that?
Yeah, so sure, we got our hockey, football, basketball, but I'm also a big racing fan, and that dates back 20 years ago to when Cars first came out. Yeah, true story. That's how I became a NASCAR fan. So the big talk of
Cars, the movie. Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
from Disney and Pixar. So yeah, the talk of the track right now is Michael Jordan's team that he co-owns with current
basketball
driver.
player, Michael Jordan? Okay.
Yep. The GOAT, Michael Jordan from the NBA back in the day, yeah. So he co-owns a race team called 2311 with veteran driver Denny Hamlin, and one of their drivers named Tyler Reddick won 4 of the first 6 races this season, and red hot right now. And that was the talking point of him all of this week, because he's the most recent winner from this past weekend in Darlington.
Yeah, yeah. Is the next NASCAR race on Fox? I know you know the schedule.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
for right now, some of the races coming up are on FS1. That's the cable channel.
Yeah.
But there is a race on Fox coming up this weekend. It's the NTT IndyCar Series from Barber Motorsport Park.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that is, you could catch that live on Fox and Fox One and the Fox Sports app.
We just need to cut that out for the editors. Make that into a commercial right there. We just promote our own Fox programming there with Tyler. We appreciate it. Guys, we have just about 45 seconds left. The Twins opening day, it's on Thursday. Are the Twins going to the playoffs?
That's debatable.
That wasn't good.
I'm sorry. I'm a diehard Twins fan. I would love to say yes, but we have to remember who owns the team. So we're in currently that fog area.
I'm sorry, you guys.
We need you owning the team. You can help inspire the Twins there. Hey, listen, on behalf of at Fox 9 in the afternoon shift, thank you all so much for coming in studio today and sharing all of your insights all about the USA Games. And thank you to you at home for watching.
Yeah, thank you.
We appreciate all the viewership. We'll see you back here tomorrow. Same time, same place. I'm Adam Lorenz. Have a great evening, everybody.